We thought we were going to win it rather comfortably, but the Highway Department, under the leadership of John Mackey, who was Highway Commissioner, campaigned vigorously against it.
Why was that?
I think one reason is because the Highway Commissioner under the old Constitution was an elected position. Under the new Constitution, we struck it out as an elected position.
It's appointed.
Yes.
It still is today.
And when I went to bed, I was rooming in the Olds Hotel with Senator Brown, Gary Brown. We had lost the election. And John Mackey was having a big dinner celebration party in the big ballroom of the Olds Hotel. We were upstairs on the 7th floor in our room, lamenting our loss, and he was celebrating. We woke up in the morning and found there had been an error in the count, and it actually had carried.
Huh. There must have been some other controversial aspects to it, though.
Oh, there was.
I mean,
There
it
were
had
a
to be
lot
more
of
than just
there
the-
were, yes. The Democrats generally were vigorously opposing it.
With the flat income tax is a provision in the Constitution.
A flat income tax, yes. Another provision, which I think was good, was we couldn't run a deficit, or if we started running a deficit, we had to do something about it. We either had to eliminate some expenditures, or we had to raise taxes. And that was very controversial, but that is the very reason Michigan got in so much trouble and had the famous paydays of 1959, was we kept spending, but without appropriating.
Now, looking back at the '63 convention and Constitution, do you think it served us well? Are there things you would have done differently with it? Were there things that you were disappointed that you wanted to get in the Constitution that failed?
Yes, I think there were some, but we knew, personally, I have always felt we should have an appointed Attorney General. Like the federal government. But we knew if we did, we'd probably get a no vote. So we just couldn't do it.
What about the Supreme Court justices? Because, you know, there's debate today as to whether the Constitution should be changed regarding their election. Was that heavily debated at the time?
That was a serious matter at our Constitutional Convention, yes. There was a group of the Romneyites in particular, not all of them, but a good share of them, who felt that we should go to a different system than the current elective system. We should go to the Missouri type plan. But the delegates could never get a majority for anything. We were deadlocked. That was one of the big issues that never was satisfactorily solved. And we just ended up with a replay of the old system.
So the system of electing the Supreme Court justices was continued. Was not changed. What about the university regents for the big three universities? Because again, that's one that's come up for debate today. The governor has suggested...
This was another issue. It was not strongly debated, but there were a number of delegates who felt that instead of electing statewide the U of M, MSU, and Wayne, that they should be appointed by the governor. However, one of our delegates was John Hanna, the president of Michigan State University. And he was a very strong member of the convention, and you couldn't get a vote with John Hanna opposing it.
That must have been an interesting collection of characters at
Oh
the
yes,
convention.
another delegate was the president of Central Michigan University. And and he was very popular. So we didn't push that one.
How was the convention run? The delegates elect a chair?
We had quite a hassle getting a chairman. The 1/3 or 1/2 of the Republicans wanted George Romney. Another half of the Republicans wanted someone who would represent the Farm Bureau of Michigan. And they had a very strong, capable leader, Hale Brake, D. Hale Brake, who probably knew more about Michigan government than anybody there at the convention. And we just couldn't elect either Brake or Romney. We finally compromised and elected the president of the Gerber Company, who became our president, and Romney became a vice president, and then we had two vice presidents. We had the Democrats. We let the Democrats have one. The Democrats had 1/3 of the votes, and the Republicans 2/3, but the Republican 2/3 were split in two. So none of these three factions could do anything without making a deal with the other faction. It was a fascinating experience, but it worked out very well.
Now, we only have a few minutes left, Judge, but I'm wondering if, I know you come back to Kalamazoo from time to time. And
my brother still lives in Kalamazoo.
You have a brother there, so you're maybe aware of some of the things that are happening there, some of the issues that we have locally. Looking back at having served as mayor, what advice do you have for Kalamazoo and Kalamazoo County, as it prepares to move forward over the next few years? I'm sure some of the issues we have are probably some of the same ones you dealt with.
Kalamazoo's been hit, I think, pretty hard with two things. The Upjohn Company, Pharmacia, the key decisions no longer are made in Kalamazoo, and I think that's hurt Kalamazoo. And then First of America being taken over by the larger bank, where the decisions now are made in Cleveland at Kalamazoo. It's made things difficult for Kalamazoo. My heart still is in Kalamazoo. My corpus is here in Lansing and in DeWitt. And I get back to Kalamazoo, and seriously, after the death of my wife Marjorie a year ago, considered coming back to Kalamazoo and staying in one of the retirement homes on the west side of Kalamazoo. I don't think I'm going to do that now. I can't give you. I think Kalamazoo is doing well under the circumstances. I wish I could give you a magic answer. I can't. I have enough problems as it is.
Well, thank you very much for coming on my program, Judge Allen. It's been a pleasure to talk with you today, and I think this will be very interesting for people back at home to get a chance to see you. I don't know if you know, but I think it was last year the Gazette had a retrospective of Kalamazoo history.
Yes.
And they picked you as one of the most important political leaders in Kalamazoo over the last 100 years.
They called me the politician of the century.
That's right.
Now I don't know whether that's flattering or
no,
not.
I think they meant that favorably. Yeah. So thank you again for your time, and thank you for everything that you did for our community.
Thank you
over
for
the years.
inviting me.
You're welcome.